What's going on YouTube? How is everybody today? Very good to hear. Today I want to talk about this band called Past Lives. They have this album called Tapestry of Webs that came out in 2010 on Suicide Squeeze Records. This is a quartet from Seattle. 3 of the 4 members used to be in this screamo punk hardcore band called Blood Brothers. Pretty big band, big with the kids. Played all this kind of screaming, yelling, kind of really loud, dissonant kind of music. I think I only have one of their albums, and it was called Crimes, and couldn't really hang with it. It was a little too in your face, a little too screaming and yelling. I don't know, I didn't really get it. It was a little too over my head, I guess, but they did garner them a pretty big fan base, got them a lot of underground acclaim, whatever that means. And so they broke up in 2007. 3 of the 4 members started this band, and it's kind of the same as Blood Brothers. I hear a little bit of similarities, like it has the weird kind of cryptic lyrics. The vocals aren't nearly as screaming yelly, but it has the same kind of tone to them. Like they toned down the screaming and yelling on here by at least 90% on here. It's a little toned down. They got a little more creative with their songwriting. This album does have the, unavoidable rock outs on here, but it also has a little bit of toned down, restrained songs on here. They really explore a lot of area on this album. I would kind of compare it to like maybe even the album I reviewed yesterday, Fang Island, but with better songwriting, better lyrics, more diversity. It also reminds me a lot of like At the Drive-In, but not nearly as catchy. The lyrics aren't nearly as political as At the Drive-In thing, but it's not nearly, they don't have almost have the same dynamics as like an At the Drive-In too, because At the Drive-In was excellent. This is this kind of almost, it's like another one of those almost bands. I also hear a little bit of Liars at some points, and the creepiness and the quasi atmosphere that they get going on in a couple of the slower tracks, the more toned down tracks on here. Like it's almost like that, a little bit like Giddy Motors, but not nearly as drunk. This album's 12 songs, 46 minutes long. It's just pretty much, some people are describing it as like art punk, which I don't know what it is, or anti-post pop, which kind of sounds right. I don't know what that is either. Anti-post pop, maybe. Mutant jazz, not really. It's just kind of indie rock, with a little more, rigid, kind of uglier melodies, some sharp guitars, and a little bit of a beefy bass. It's got this creative songwriting. It's got a little bit of a math element to it, I think. It's got this kind of paranoid / anxious kind of feel to it. A lot of anxiety comes into play, like I mentioned before. It's got these, kind of cryptic, quasi-interesting lyrics about hospitals and dreams and trash can moons and, phantom limbs and stuff like that. Pretty good stuff. I don't know how meaningful it is, but it does conjure up some cool imagery, that's for sure. These guys do play with a lot of passion. You can tell they have a lot of imagination. Like the vocals could be a little easier to warm up to. The vocals kind of left me wanting, a little something to be desired. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just he doesn't have a lot of range, or it's just, maybe it reminds me of Blood Brothers too much. It's kind of this weird, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's not really lackluster, but just, I don't know. It's left me wanting some. It's got this kind of very disharmonious nature to it too. It's not quite catchy. I don't know, like quasi spazz rock would probably be a good way to describe this stuff. It's like this kind of spazzy, angular kind of shit. I don't know. They do use some interesting instrumentation at some point. I read there's a clarinet, and there's something that sounds like a saxophone on a couple of tracks. It adds a little bit of a dissonance to a little noise factor to it, so that's kind of cool. And there are some pretty thick grooves, but it's like I said, it's a band of almost. Like nothing's really gonna be like a hit single, nothing's gonna be something that's really gonna stick out on your head. When I first listened to this album, I didn't really like it, but then as I listened to it more and more, I started to appreciate it with every listen, I guess. Found out it was kind of like this little mini adventure he takes you through, and all the songs go off these weird kind of changes, and like I said before, they explore their sound, explore all these different ideas. They have a lot of imagination. I think I kind of appreciate that. Cover art's kind of weird, kind of reminds me like this Christmas card or something. I don't know, I get a Christmas feel from it for some reason. Maybe it's because of the quasi Christmas tree shaped stuff, a lot of Christmas colors, kind of looks like a quilt, snow, I don't know. I don't really know what the hell is going on in the back here. Some dude some a graph, the red and green lines, and like a leg with rib cages or grenades on it. You tell me what that is. Then we got just, I don't know, a drawing of a face there. Credits. Then we got the sleeve with the same thing as the original cover. Great job. Different picture there of a guy sitting at a table with a lamp and a magic box. I don't know. Lyric sheets. Always appreciate it when a CD comes with that. But yeah, Past Lives, I'd say if you're really into Blood Brothers, want to see what they're up to next, this album did have a lot of good reviews online. It's not really my bag of hammers though. I did like it more and more with each time I listened to it, so I don't know, maybe give a track a couple of listens before you pass judgment on it. If you like Fang Island, you like At the Drive-In, you like Liars, or you just want to hear something that sounds kind of like it, almost kind of has those elements with it, you know, pretty raw, pretty rigid stuff, almost screamless. I did like a couple tracks on here. I did like the more toned down tracks, like track 5, Deep in the Valley, song 8, Vanishing Twins, you know, somewhat enjoyed it. Just, like I said, what did I call it? Quasi spazz rock. Pretty apt description, I think. Past Lives, Tapestry of Webs, 2010. Suicide Squeeze Records. Peace out.